the Bitcoin trade opportunity that we've been talking about in this channel for a while, the plan is finally unfolding, right? Things are picking up, things are making sense, and we're going to get that buying opportunity soon, in my opinion. And this is how we're going to approach it. I'm going to show you guys. Uh, Basically, we already talked about everything I'm going to talk about. We already talked about it, but it's a really, really good reminder to, look at the bigger picture. We're going to go over the charts one more time, how discounted it really is in the short term, and how can we take advantage of this as we continue to wait for a potential bottom in the purple area potentially, and what can invalidate this purple area, and just how can we prepare ourselves for a just extreme, just random rally higher. Very unlikely in my opinion when it comes to comparing it for one more dip into this area down here. But there's some opportunities we can take up here, so I'm gonna go over that as well. I'm not gonna look at any articles or anything because we know there's just a lot of mixed news on Bitcoin, because now since the rally is over and we confirmed the downtrend, you know, there's just mixed news on articles. We already see that a lot. And then we know tariffs is a 50% steel tariffs, I believe, and then there's a lot of issues going on with that as well. So we're gonna keep that in mind going forward, and how that could potentially influence the price to reach our purple area to have a really, really deep value buying opportunity for Bitcoin before it goes much, much higher into this green area, much, much higher. So basically, here's how I'm looking at this, and here's how I didn't take any positions today, because I said in a previous video multiple times, I said, you know, I like to see fib extensions and fib retracements usually max out. It just happens so often that it's something I try not to shy away from. But we were up here yesterday. Actually, no, yeah, I made a video. I think we were roughly around here, and we tested it. And I said, and I showed a lot of previous examples in previous structures. But I said usually, when we see enough momentum to hit a extension area, rather to the upside or to the downside, doesn't matter, we tend to see the momentum build up and actually try to maximize the area. Now, this is not, as of right now, how I'm assuming that this will be the bottom. That's not what I'm saying. What I am waiting for, and I'm conserving capital, because I kept saying every time we were trading all of this up here, I kept saying take short, not short, take small long positions with a very tight stop loss to still maximize, potential upside, respecting resistances and fib extensions. And a tight stop loss will conserve your capital for a much better deal, because we're using tight stop losses because we believe that we're still working our way down into this deeper value area before we can go much higher. So right now, what I'm waiting on, and you guys know I like to trade ETFs, so I can't really take positions or new positions or manage positions outside of US market hours. But what we do have is still RSI is not really maxing out to the downside that much as we continue to make a new little low within this structure. So there is still bearish momentum building. It's not really being exhausted. And we also see that this fib area hasn't been completed yet. But how I plan to approach this, actually no, tomorrow's the weekend, so I gotta wait till Monday either way. But we'll see how the price unfolds. What I'm anticipating as of right now is, let's try to see if we can maximize this red area. So far, it's a really, really good buying opportunity, in my opinion, in the short term, because as the price downtrends, it has to have these corrective rallies to factor in. Actually, I need to lower this a little bit, and I think the top is accurate. Yeah, for the top right there. So what we have is a resistance area for a bullish correction before the overall bearish pattern continues. And this is what's going to begin the process of invalidating the purple area. So here's how I'm approaching this, and I'm going to I gotta wait till the weekend passes to see how this is gonna unfold, because I can't take any positions over the weekend. Actually, I think Binance finally opened up. You can deposit USD into it, so maybe I'll take some Bitcoin long positions over the weekend. depending on what happens. But basically, what I'm looking for is either now or a little bit, just a little bit lower, but somewhere between this area, um, with 100K being another support area, because we do, or we're also looking at the overall retracement for the move up. Um, so between now and down to 100K, we can easily find support and try to reach this retracement area before we find resistance. And then we start pushing down lower. So it'll look something very similar to this, where we come down, we go up, we find resistance within a retracement area. It's the orange one in that case right there, which this is going to be between like 105, basically. I want to say 105 to 110,000 is really where I want it to be. But we're not going to overhype ourselves. We're not going to overextend ourselves any higher when we are still in a bearish move down. So 106 to 109,000 is a much more reasonable area so far. Now, we still have a really good opportunity to bounce up from here. We have previous resistances though. As you can see, this one, or supports all the way down here. It comes down to basically just under 101K. So we can still go down lower. I'm not saying to start opening heavy trades right now because we're still downtrending. We're not breaking micro resistances. There's no reason to be overly aggressive. But if any of you have a long enough time horizon to capture, accumulate as we trend lower to find support, have a bullish corrective rally before you find resistance within a retracement, and then finish an overall final wave down into the purple area, which it's between 85 and 100K on my charts right here. So really, it's just trying to take advantage of short-term bullish opportunity where resistance is at most strongly, which will look something like this again, where you come down, go up, find resistance, and then push down much aggressively lower. So that's basically what I'm trying to do to take advantage of that. Now, in order to invalidate this purple area, which is, in my opinion, much less likely than us just finding resistance and coming down here, it will be quite simple, breaking past the previous overall all-time high, just over 109K, and then showing weakness when it comes to trying to come down and break smaller picture support areas. So it will look something like this, where like if the price goes up, consolidates within this area but doesn't show weakness, still shows bullish momentum on the RSI, and not wanting to break below the 120 moving average too much after it breaks over it soon enough, and then we end up going higher and we continue to fail to break smaller pictures, support areas, and instead we just continue uptrend higher. And then eventually, now, just because we break all-time highs and we go up a little bit doesn't mean this area is invalidated. Instead, the price will continue to follow it a little bit as we wait to see if the price comes into this area. Again, I think it's much less likely, but when the price finally starts trading within this green area, which is the 115,000 and above, then that's when this purple area is invalidated, and instead we're looking at bullish structures. We're going to be looking at a short corrective rally. It's not a very shallow one, and then not really coming down to where we want it to, and then from there we know that there's a lot of bullish momentum and we can take advantage of new bullish structures using imbalances as support, micro supports, 120 moving average, RSI, fib extensions. We can be using all of that. But as of right now, until that happens, I'm going to keep my eyes on lower prices with the opportunity of very soon, ideally somewhere between 100,000 and 102,000, so just under the red. So I'm not saying we're going to find support at the bottom of the red. I'm saying actually it looks like I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down and finds support a little bit below the red. Ideally, I would like to wait for 100,000, between 100,000 and 102,000. This will be a really good opportunity, in my opinion, and I'm going to be treating it this way. It's just how I'm managing my trades. It doesn't mean that you should, and you shouldn't copy my trades because, I don't really post updates as I trade, and so you might miss out on anything that I do. But basically, and it's not financial advice or anything. But basically, I want to see the price come down a little bit more. We can see a little bit of like smaller picture fake outs, maybe come up a little bit, find this descending resistance line. But regardless, in order for me to want to buy, new long positions right now. I want to see the price actually briefly break below the bottom line on the on this on this extension area. This will be uh something that I'm very interested in to buy in this gap right here between the red and the purple. But regardless, I may still be accumulating the moment we break below 103,000 and begin slowly accumulating as we come down, because I don't want to try to time the bottom. I would like to accumulate as we go into it. And then the moment we break below 100K, so 99,999 would be my stop loss. That's where my stop loss would be. But I'll be slowly accumulating small positions, and I'll either be stopped out or accumulate small positions. We come up to retracement, which can look different. If we refer down here, it'll be a little bit lower. But we go up into retracement, sell, lock in our profit, lock in my profit, and then, you know, continue looking for potential lower prices to buy a new long position down here. And that's pretty much how I am approaching this right now. So everything is unfolding. We're just trying to see if we can capture a corrective bullish rally before we come down lower. So this is a trade I'm waiting on to see if I want to take when the opportunity presents itself just a little bit better. I don't care if I miss out on it because I'll be looking for uptrend confirmations, which again I think is much less likely. But that's what I'm waiting on. A really good opportunity that tells me to buy for a bullish correction before we continue the overall bearish move down. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.